Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. So you're about to launch your church, or maybe it's time for you to move to a different building. Here are some things you really need to consider as you're making those decisions. I think there are three things that you really need to keep in mind as your leadership is deciding on where you're going to meet for your church. It doesn't matter whether you're portable or whether you're going to be buying a building or buying land or whatever it is. These things I think are pretty important in the process of deciding what you're going to do. Those three things are location, size, and maybe a little bit of the aesthetics. Number three, not as important, but we'll get to that. So first, your location. Your location, where you're going to be in your city, is actually really important. Is it visible? Is it accessible? Do you have good ingress and egress in and out of your parking lot? These are all pretty important things that could determine whether that spot you're moving to is the right spot for you. If it's difficult to get in and out of your parking lot, people may just pass on by. If they have to make a U-turn to get in or things like that, that can be complicated. If they can't leave easily, that's going to deter people from coming in. If you're not in a visible spot, our church right now is right on the main strip in downtown, and it's very visible. It's a very walked area throughout the day. So numerous times I'll meet people and I'll say what church I go to, and they're like, "Oh, you're the wavers," because they've driven by our location and see us waving all of the time every Sunday morning. We're actually pretty close to moving to a new location as well, which I'm not going to reveal what that is quite yet, but we're about to move on, and that spot is extremely visible. Actually, it's going to be right on a major highway, so we're going to be able to put banners and signage, A-frame signs, and all that on a very large highway space. It's a very popular area, and it's going to be extremely visible, and we're going to have good line of sight for people to know where they're coming and be able to check us out, all because we're in a very visible spot. Like I said about the accessibility, making sure that you can get into it well, that parking is really simple, and that people are able to flow in and out of your parking lot can really determine whether or not it's the right space for you. The second thing that you really want to pay attention to is the size of the space. How much space do you have to grow there? Are you going to hinder yourself or make a lateral move by heading to this spot and not allow space for new people to be able to come in and experience your church? The size of it really matters. So you want to make sure that you have space to grow. There's a good rule that you probably know about that you want to pay attention to. If your auditorium seats 100 people, for instance, 80% is capacity. That's 80 people out of those 100 chairs is capacity, because once you start getting past that, now people are having to slide past each other and all that, and it's become an awkward situation for people that, especially new people coming to your church, will walk in and see an 80% full room and feel like it's now packed and that there's nowhere for them to be. So you want to make sure that you got enough space to be able to grow and not hinder the growth of your church. So if right now our room, it seats about 100, it has about 145 chairs. That means that at capacity,
Yes?
what's 145 times 80%?
145 times 80% is 116.
And that means that if we put all the chairs out, capacity of the space is going to be about 115, 116 people. So right now we're running 3 services so that we could lengthen the amount of time that we were able to be there, because it is time for us to move on to a larger spot as our church has grown. So make sure wherever you're going, try not to make lateral moves. If you're not able to add space and make more room for new people, is there really a point in you moving on from where you are right now? Is there other factors that are causing you to move? But as you're making those determinations, think about how much space you're going to have there. The last thing on the list, and probably the most low priority, is the aesthetics. Now, you do want it to be clean, you want it to look nice, you want it to be presentable, you want people to want to come to your space. Does it have to be this immaculate, perfect building, all kinds of stuff? Not necessarily. I've seen churches grow and make great strides in a strip mall. and be in this front building that looks like everything else, and they make it work for them. And that's, I think, the thing that's important here, is make the space work for you. Bring in your aesthetics, bring in your design eye. Maybe you can't actually change a whole bunch of stuff because you're leasing the building or you're renting it week to week, but you can add your own aesthetics to the place to make it warm and inviting and friendly for people as they're coming in to see your church for the first time. But more than that, make sure it's clean. You want to have someplace that is clean, that you're paying attention to, and that things are being picked up and taken care of, and it looks neat and presentable when people are coming in. You also want to make sure it's safe, especially as people are bringing their kids. You want to make sure it's a safe environment. Does it present as a safe space? Do the kids' areas present as safe and secure for the kids of these families that are coming in? So that's 3 things that I think you need to pay attention to as you're making these determinations for new spaces, whether you're portable, whether you're just now launching, or whether you're going to be buying your own spot. Think about the location and how visible and accessible it is, the cleanliness and the aesthetics of the place, and also think about the size, because you want to make sure you have room to expand and to grow and to do all the things that God is calling you to do. Hope that was helpful. Hope you have a fantastic day. Do all the things, the notifications, subscribe, the likes, yada, yada, yada. And we'll see you guys next time.